Our third topic, just give you a quick overview of Sunday because there are a lot of intriguing storylines. The first one that I'm going to be looking at is that Pittsburgh Jets game, the quarterback swap, Aaron Rodgers going from the Jets to the Steelers, Justin Fields going from the Steelers to the Jets. The Jets have a really talented young roster, and there are a lot of good players there. And I think a lot of people look at this, and rightfully so, as how well the quarterback plays will determine how far the Jets can go. And I love a lot of the young guys there, even with Oliver Tucker out now, the young tackle combination of Ola Fashanu and Armand Membu. You've got, the skill positions. You got Garrett Wilson. You've got Breece Hall. I think Braylon Allen is in position to have a really big year. And then on defense, the wealth of young talent: Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams, Quincy Williams, Sauce Gardner on down the line, Will McDonald. So what does the quarterback look like? With Pittsburgh, it's obvious, right? With Pittsburgh, can Aaron Rodgers give them the piece that they need to take that extra step? Young offensive line in front of them. There have been some questions there. They feel really good about where they're at from an offensive line perspective. But what kind of difference can Aaron Rodgers make, and what does he look like at age 40? Another game I'm looking at, Detroit and Green Bay. Two edge pieces that I think everybody's going to be paying attention to. What does Aiden Hutchinson look like coming off the broken leg? They felt like in camp he was even better than before. And then with the Packers, Micah Parsons coming in game one. They have the flexibility because they've got real strength on the edge with a couple former first-round picks and Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness there. They got the flexibility to put him in a rotation. Can he make an impact in game one? Love that matchup. That could wind up being one that plays in at the end of the year into tiebreakers, right? So that's an important early season matchup. Another game that I think we'll get some answers in is Houston and the Rams. And here's a name that you're probably not paying enough attention to. Ariante Ursary, a second-round pick out of Minnesota, starting left tackle for the Texans now. He's going to be one of the keys when it comes to how far Houston can take its team. They've won the AFC South two years in a row. C.J. Stroud now entrenched as their starting quarterback, but with a new offensive coordinator and some new offensive weapons around him, right? So what does he look like operating with Nick Caley as his play caller? What do the rookies from Iowa State, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, look like alongside a true number one and Nico Collins? Got Dalton Schultz in that mix as well. What does the running back position look like with Nick Chubb and Damian Pierce there and Joe Mixon out for the first month of the season? And then the defense, I think, has a chance to be the best in football. So much is going to hinge, again, on that offensive line. And a lot of hinges when you've got offensive line questions on that left tackle position. So what does the Houston offensive line look like against one of the best defensive fronts in all of football? With Jared Verse and Braden Fisk and Byron Young and Kobe Turner. So much talent there in that defensive front. Can the Houston offensive line hold up? Because if that Houston offensive line holds up, I think they've got the team. They got the type of roster where they might be able to break through that glass ceiling and get into the Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore tier in the AFC. And then for the Rams, I think they feel like they've got a Super Bowl team. What does Matthew Stafford look like after missing so much time in camp? And then finally, the nightcap on Sunday is going to be fantastic. Ravens Bills. We don't need to say much more than just Ravens Bills. A rematch of the divisional round playoff that wound up becoming a classic with the Mark Andrews drop at the end. The Ravens have a chance to atone here. They blew the Bills out in the regular season last year. That's become one of the really good rivalries in the AFC. Can't wait for that one. We got a fully stocked weekend. And then after that, of course, and this feels like it's a million miles away now, but it's going to come quick, that Monday night game against Chicago, Minnesota. It's fantastic. Football is back.